All right, everybody, welcome. We're going to sit tight, let the audience build up here a little bit. We got Sam. Sam's on the panel. I'll be bringing him in here shortly. We are waiting on the others. The others are active and they have the links to get in here. They always jump in at the last minute. So they'll be here shortly. What's up, Dinobot? We're just going to keep it simple tonight. We're going to keep it simple. And I'm going to, when the others get on here, I'm going to chit chat with them and see what's new with them. And then we'll kind of take it from there. So, but here it is, Sunday. What's today? Whatever the date is. So, all right. So, all right. Oh, wow. The audience jumped up fairly quick from out of nowhere. So, all right. Well, I'm going to bring Sam in here till the others show up. And see, there we go. There's Sam.
What's up,
How you doing,
man?
Sam?
Pretty good, buddy. You doing all right?
Oh yeah, hanging in there. Good. That's for sure. Yeah, I tell you what, most of this weekend has been like a catch-up kind of thing for me. You know, I don't know what it is, but man, I pass out. You know, as soon as I get home, I sleep, and any little bit of work I do on the weekends to get caught up. I mean, it wears me out. I'm already worn out from the whole week. And I barely,
Sure.
I'm just now getting caught up and rest, and I got another whole week to go. But I'm off the following whole week, so I'll be out in the woods camping.
There you go.
So
there you go. That's the
yeah.
best kind of isolation you can get.
Hi, Sam.
Oh yeah, I am so looking forward to it.
That's awesome, man. That's
All
great.
right, we got Miss Nikki.
How's
Yeah,
it going,
I've been looking
guys?
forward to it for a long, for at least a couple months. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm already getting one thing from Dinobot's asking about something maybe we'll get into talking about here in a little while. Pat should be joining us very shortly.
Okay.
Oh, and then we're gonna have Pat, and then the one and only Kelly. Kelly will be joining us tonight. So okay. Kelly told me he asked me if he could join in tonight. He said, I'll be straight up and I'll make sure I wear a t-shirt tonight. So well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man. Here we go. We got Pat right here.
There he is.
There we go. Hey Pat.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
Yeah, I was just telling them we'll have Kelly Ray Jones. I don't know when he'll get on here. Kelly's going to join us tonight too. I was just telling Nikki that. Huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Then I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some entertainment. So, one thing I thought I should start doing in the beginning of each podcast is kind of doing a little disclaimer. For each individual on here, that we're not responsible for any. I don't know what it. Yeah,
you're scared. You're just scared.
Everybody is responsible for their own actions. Yeah. No, I didn't know really how to word it, but yeah, everybody is responsible for their own actions, and we're not responsible for what gets put on here or what's said. So take it for what it is.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Have you caught some heat? Have you caught some heat?
We always get heat whenever we're on.
Oh no! I'm just saying, as far as
yeah.
Well, regardless, even if we bring up something in particular or not, but so. Oh, yeah. Nikki, how you like that picture I sent you of that camper?
Oh God,
the shirtless camper.
You scared the hell out of me. I was asleep, dude.
Yeah, you thought.
And I went, and so I wasn't quite awake, and I didn't even have my glasses on, but I just opened it, and bam, I was like, whoa. Yeah, I didn't need to see that in the morning. Ugh. Looks like he put on some weight.
Oh yeah, Sam.
What's up?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't think Pat knows him, but I'm gonna try not to mention his name because we try to leave that name out of here. But yeah, one particular camper, well, a Bigfoot researcher up here on the Cole Road. There was a picture of him that I sent Nikki. He was sitting there at his camp without his shirt on. Man,
so he's already there.
I mean,
I think he just started, hasn't he?
Oh
started
yeah, they've been up there
camping?
for the whole weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he was out going back and forth on Friday. So, Robert, Robert's asking FK with a question mark. So, yeah.
I'm bummed that I didn't get to go to the Cole Roads this year.
Hey, I'm still planning on coming up there at the end of June.
Well,
doing Gettysburg again and stopping back by and seeing you, maybe spend a night or two there in Waynesboro and make a visit over to the Cole Roads, you know.
Okay. Well, not this week, but next week, the whole next week, I'm off that whole week. So I'll be out camping. Now I know I looked at the weather. Most of this week is supposed to call for light rain through the whole week, and then even into the first day or two of next week. So I don't know. Regardless, I'm not going to let the rain stop me.
No.
I've been looking forward to getting out there for a while. So, but yeah, I've already got stuff together. I've been kind of gearing up on food supplies, stuff like that. So
yeah.
There's been a little bit of there's been a little bit of a damper in my plans as far as funds go because I've had to spend extra money that I didn't want to have to spend. Shoot, I discovered my front tires were worn out. I had to break down and get 2 new tires and then my cell phone took a dump. I had to spend money, I had to get a new cell phone and yeah, if it ain't one thing, it's another.
That's life, man. That's the way it always goes.
Always.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. You've been
on
a bad one lately, man. Yeah.
Yeah, with me, it comes and goes. It's like of course, you never expect it, but then when something starts happening, everything starts snowballing. So. Yeah, but yeah, you guys are right. It's all part of life. So, well, tell you what, I wish these notifications stopped popping up on my computer here. So,
I know I have to share this.
So, we'll go ahead and get. Oh, okay. We'll tell you what. Before I get into the, because I'm going off of the chat here. Before we get into the chat, I will go ahead and start off. First of all, let me start with Sam because I haven't gotten to talk to you about that last time when you and Kim you guys went out. I think I maybe spoke to you briefly, but you guys have been coming across some tracks. Yeah, if you want to talk to us about your findings, that'd be great.
Well, all right, sure. Well, you know exactly where I sit, you and Nikki and Pat. I wanted to tell you I enjoyed your piece you did the other day with Steve Coles. Very interesting. Great job. So yeah, we were out. It was very early in the morning. We got up. It was probably around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and we went out on the ATV, and then like we normally do, we get off of it and we'll hike around in different areas, check stuff out. And the place we were we were out. Well, first off, we were on private land. So there's very limited people that go up there, like 5 or less. But the area we were in, we had to go through Mountain Laurel, some other stuff to get to that beach. And I honestly, you know how I am. I didn't think I was going to find anything. And then those prints were there. I was just, I still don't know what to think. Because there's no kids up there. There hasn't been any kids up there for months because of the COVID-19 deal. And I'm just baffled of what it could be. Now, we did set up some game cameras. We've set up 4 in that area to see if we could possibly catch what made those tracks. because I'm not going to sit here and say at all that they were made by a Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I didn't see it make it. But, you know, I mean, I don't know, Daniel. I don't know. And that's probably, you know, in the 5-6 years I've been doing this, that's maybe the third piece of evidence I've come across that I say might be Sasquatch related. But yeah, so we're going to get back up there this weekend coming up. We'll check some cameras. We'll see, you know, what's going on. I didn't find any hair. We didn't find any. I didn't have my casting material. Of course I didn't, which I'm pissed off about that, but I just didn't have it. We weren't in the mindset of doing any Bigfooting. We were just out and exploring, kind of like you do, you know? So I just didn't have it. Bigfoot was not on the mind. Let's put it that way, at all. So, yeah, but that's. I mean, you know, that's
don't
about
feel
it.
bad. Yeah. When it comes to not having plaster to cast a track, if you come across one, don't feel bad. Because I mean, there's been cases where I've had it in my vehicle, and of course, if I'm out in the woods hiking around and I come across something, you know, I'm like, my lazy mentality kicks in. Like, I got plaster, but I'll be damned if I'm walking back there to come back here to do. You know, I was like, I'm too lazy to do stuff like that. Or sometimes I simply don't have it, like, you know, like you.
Yeah.
But yeah, real quick, what month and what time of month was this when you guys found these?
Yeah, so it was probably at the end of April, so it was a few weeks ago, and it was in the morning.
April, okay.
And yeah, so, and if you noted in the video, it had just rained probably 24 hours before we had found those tracks, so they were pretty fresh. And I know for a fact there was no kids up there, period. So yeah, I mean, there's only one way in and one way out up there, unless you hike in from the backside of like 5 miles, and just nobody's going to do that. Not with bare feet, not back there. Stinging weeds. Come on, man. You know, you've been around it. So I just don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm confused.
Where did you post those pictures? Did you?
Well, on YouTube channel.
On the YouTube.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he had them on Facebook. Yeah, those tracks were pretty clear looking. You know, on the most part,
they were.
But here's something to think about. I don't know how it was. I know Nikki down her way. They've been getting a lot of warm weather. Pat, I'm not sure exactly how Georgia's been behaving for you guys, but I know up here, you know, for the last couple of months, we've been getting a lot of cold weather. And for anyone to be out in the woods barefoot playing by a creek, I really think that's very unlikely. That's my honest opinion. I feel that it's very unlikely that human, you know, would be out there. You know, we've been getting we're just now finally getting into warm weather. We've been getting 50. You know, the last couple of months it's been averaging a high of mid 50s, maybe 60s. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're finally hitting 80-degree weather now. You know. So.
We were probably 2 miles behind the cabin, and we were a good half a mile off of the ATV trail down to that creek, and I mean, I just don't see anybody being back there. But I mean, I didn't see what made it, so I can't definitively say, you know, that a Sasquatch made it. I can't. I didn't see it make it. So that's how I see my evidence. If I find it, is, you know, like that tree in a tree. Now that's some wild shit. I've yet to come across another tree, a huge tree up in 2 trees like that. But sorry,
I remember
sorry about that.
Yeah, I remember that video. So. Oh no, you're fine.
Is it this one?
You know, Sam, on the most
can't
part.
See.
I'm good. Probably.
Hold on. Let me click on your picture, Nikki.
Oh, I'm getting.
Hold on. Let me highlight it.
A lot of glare.
Yeah,
Oops, I clicked the wrong. Oh yeah.
Hold on. There.
And I mean, Nikki, you know how I am. I'm not going to post something unless, you know, I see it as. Hey,
I clicked the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like it's it.
Come on, Nikki,
And
hold it a little
see-
straighter to the.
Yeah, that's it.
If I do it this way, it gets a glare.
And see, there's and
Oh,
Daniel, and Daniel knows because he has this similar terrain that I have. You don't find it's very rocky up there, very very rocky. Matter of fact, two of the creeks up there are called Big Stony Creek and Little Stony Creek, and it's just full of stones. So it's very rare to come across those sandy type beaches. But
Right.
nine times out of 10, you're going to find bobcat or raccoon or bear, something of that nature. But you didn't see any of that. You just saw those tracks. So, which is, I thought kind of weird that, at least I didn't see, some opossum or raccoon or whatever. But very interesting. I'm hoping the cameras show something. I don't know. We do have one camera shot up there that's in it, and we joke about it, and I've not said anything about it. It was caught about 2 months ago of a blurry black figure kind of just standing with its arms to the side, but it's blurry and you can't make it out. So it's like,
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. The only blurry photo on the whole set, which was it's like, shit, why was that one photo blurry? It's just weird. Probably a bear, but that's my guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like it's standing up, but I don't know.
Well, I'm just like you in a lot of ways, Sam. I'm very objective on a lot of things, but I feel at the same time sometimes we what's the best way to put this? I feel that we beat ourselves down or we push to be objective a little too much sometimes. Because by being, I guess what I'm getting at, so, it's like we have to leave that possibility open,
Right.
I mean, there's some things I like to easily dismiss. It depends on the circumstances and the scenario. But it just, I've actually heard from other people, I know the general area where you're at, the High Knob area. I've actually gotten reports and stories from other people that actually mentioned High Knob themselves, that said they've heard or actually possibly seen things in that area or surrounding area. So there's a very in my opinion, there's a very highly likely possibility that there's something roaming that area, even if it's just one, there's something there, I believe, so.
Well,
but if there's
two different
you got
size
these
tracks.
young tracks, these small tracks.
There's two.
Right. There may
Whatever
be a
it is.
family unit there. There may be a family unit, or, I mean, those tracks I was actually fascinated by what you found on there. So
We were too. Blew our minds.
but that was right by a
wasn't
creek, though,
expecting it.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was right by one of the creeks
Yeah.
up there, and I mean, there's nothing around. There would be no reason for a person to be there at all. Not one reason. I can't figure it out. But
See, that reminded me of that reminded me of a discussion me and Pat were involved in. We were talking about, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was me and you in one of our podcasts. We were talking about how a lot of people we find tracks around water sources or creeks and streams, and kind of like it's other people are sharing similar stories, and how we talk about there's a how it collaborates, with our stories collaborate with others. When other people share that, it's like it kind of like clicks a little switchy on, like, oh yeah, that's where I found mine too, kind of situation, and it's kind of exciting and almost encouraging at the same time, but
it's definitely,
man, yeah, I hope you come across some. How many cameras?
4. But they've got
4.
like 40.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, 4 set out in that one spot. But I mean, over all the land that's up there, there's probably 40 cameras set out in different areas. But that's for hunting purposes. It's not for what I do. And I mean, it just wasn't on the mind at all. We were morel mushroom hunting is what we were doing. So, and just happened to cross it.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's how it happens a lot in this field of study. You just happen upon it when you're not intentionally out looking for it. A lot of the reports we get are just it just happened. I mean, they weren't out Bigfooting. It just, the site, I don't know.
Right.
I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, it's fairly random.
Well, no, it's like down in. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. One of the I just recently learned probably about a week ago. Well, one of the reports I heard about, it was sent to me, and it was back in late October or sometime late 19, but it was not far off from a report that Thomas Markham had in his, and I love this story, publicly or not, but anyway, this particular story, it was by, I believe, like a husband and wife. They were kind of a young couple, but they were actually. It was like late at night, early morning, and they were riding down, and they were delivering newspapers. Newspaper deliveries. They work very early in the morning, and but their story, for what the way the detail of the story went, was pretty. I don't know. It was very fascinating that what they saw, and they stopped to see it. They weren't seeing things. They were actually saw it across the road. They stopped, and their headlights were shining up the hill. They explained how there was two of them, and they actually got behind a tree and tried to duck down and hide. But you cannot. One thing they specified was they see how the eye shine, and I guess because of the headlights, it was bright. The eye shine was blinking, and I was like, "Yep, that's exactly what during my encounter." Little things that I was reading and asked, that's similar to what I experienced, and and the eye shine was almost described the same, a little different, but the thing is, like this particular county, Bedford County in Virginia, which is only a little over about a good hour south of me, it's very interesting because I know one particular lady. I've gone on. There's one lady's property where she's been experiencing hearing weird things. Her neighbors reported hearing things, and and where she lives and where these two other reports are, there's a cluster of something happening right there. People are seeing things. People are hearing and experiencing things. It's weird how a lot of times, if you pay attention and focus on where these reports are coming on, the clusters, they all seem to happen in clusters or a pattern. But like down your way there, between what Tracy Arnold's reported and talked about, and I know Tracy's he's a good distance from you. Yeah, but a couple hours.
No, he's only about an hour.
I'm not sure how far Tracy is from you, Sam. Oh, okay, all right. Well, yeah. So between Tracy and like where you are, you got trying to remember the counties right there. You got Bland County, Wise, all them. Because there's been a lot of there. Because I got people talking to me. Oh, do you ever get down here? I said no. Why? And wait a minute, that's down where Tracy lives, or that's not far from him. Stuff like that. So between you and Tracy, there is a tight cluster right there of activity going on. So
could be, yeah.
And to hear these different stories, I just feel it's encouraging to hear the stuff. For one thing, people sharing their information, and hearing about the sightings, the stories, but as far as I'm concerned, Virginia is very what's the word? Underestimated. I've always felt. I mean, the whole East Coast in general. I think a lot of people underestimate the East Coast compared to the Pacific Northwest. Everybody thinks Bigfoot's going to be found out there, but there's so much happens up and down the East Coast here. I mean, I hear a lot of stories. People, see things in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina. Those are hot spots, and so. But Yeah, it's a very interesting. And Georgia, I'm sure. Yeah, you guys probably get a lot of activity down there and reports down there, don't you, Pat?
Where you live, Pat? In the mountains of
Did
Georgia?
you freeze up?
Oh, great.
Wait, no, there you are. We hear you.
Yeah, I live in North Georgia.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that the Appalachian chain.
When you and
it runs from here up to Maine.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the whole Appalachian chain
Right.
of mountains runs from here till Maine. That's all remote area, basically. From Georgia to Maine is this long stretch of greenway that anything could live in, really.
Well, it looked like a jungle where you and Kim camped out there. What was that? Last weekend? Was that you guys camped out?
Yeah, last weekend. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, judging from that, the pictures of your campsite, yeah, it looked like a jungle you guys had there. Well grown in, nice and green. So, yeah, I like camping in areas like that. That's where I camp at now. Since everything's all grown in. That's what it looks like out there right now. Everything's all nice and healthy, green, and the ferns. Man, you can walk through the ferns. They're like almost as tall as you are out there. The ferns are pretty thick and heavy in certain areas out there. But because if you ever anyone that's ever been to the Pacific Northwest and walk through their forest, you know how you got a lot of green growth and stuff that grows on the trees. There's bits and pieces of where I camp at. If you walk through the woods, it'll probably remind you. It does to me. It reminds me of what the woods look like out there. But it's pretty interesting. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I always tell people that Georgia's a funny place. Like in the summer, it's Vietnam, and in the winter, it looks like a nuclear bomb went off. That's the difference between the canopy drop is so huge. Lush green to almost nothing. It's crazy.
All right. Sam jumped. He dropped out. All right. One of the questions on the live chat. I know we've spoke on this before, but I'll go ahead and throw it out there. It's just something they wanted to. I think it was Dinobot. He asked. I believe it was relating to how many different types of Bigfoot do you believe they are? Yeah, that's what he was asking. Yeah. First of all, yeah. I guess it would have to go as, do you believe there's different types of Bigfoot, and if so, how many? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll start with Nikki. Nikki's just one on the.
Yeah, I definitely think there are.
You think there's different types of Bigfoot?
Just like people, well, there's different kinds of people. Why wouldn't there be different kinds of Bigfoot? According to geography, I think there may be bigger in BC or Alaska area. I think that they're smaller in the swamplands, longer hair. I mean, there's the reports of the ones looking snouty, some that look more ape-like, some that look more human-like, some that are possible just meat eaters. Have you heard of those? And they look a little more gorilla-y, but they're mean. And then I've heard of omnivorous ones that will eat meat or veg and are nicer, more family-oriented.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it can be whatever. I think there's possibilities of there being nice ones and mean ones, just like humans.
Yeah, I think different sizes and everything too. Yes.
All in between.
All right.
I don't think
Yeah,
they
Pat,
pop out
what do you
5
think,
feet
Pat?
tall.
Oh
I
yeah.
think they're babies. You know, they have babies. So,
Oh yeah.
and whether you think the babies come out like
Absolutely.
little monkeys and can swing on the trees like the New York Bigfoot baby, do you think that was a, you know,
Oh yeah.
a monkey, or do you think it was a little Bigfoot? Because it really resembled a monkey.
It really did seem that, because I know Pat and Steve spoke about that. They brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, what was the discussion on that brought from Steve's view on that? Because I know I remember he mentioned, I believe he said something about, he made mention of what do you call it? He analyzed that footage. I know as best he could. So, did he share any opinion or take on that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we were talking about some of the things that he had analyzed before, and that one came up. And he seemed to have investigated it like quite thoroughly by actually going to the source of the video and talking to the people who were there when they made it, and getting the context for the video. And he had an actual, like, he actually got to see the video, you know, itself, like the actual video that was made
In its entirety, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess his conclusion on that was that you know, he didn't conclude it was a hoax. So he felt it was genuine, and that whatever was going on in that tree, you know, it wasn't, it was some kind of puppet or you know, or a hoax perpetrated by the people filming that day,
Right.
at least. So that was interesting, you know.
Mhm.
Uh,
There was a
uh,
lot of speculation of people saying it was an antenna from one of the cars or something, and I never thought
I didn't
that
get
looked like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never ever saw that in it. And you could
No.
tell the people around the campfire were just wasted, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's the thing he said. Yeah.
yeah, they
He
just
said
it
they were all wrong.
didn't make sense, you know. He wasn't really focusing back there. He was focusing on the people in front of him, and it's weird. I mean, what can you say? You see a figure down there and you see a little thing jump off of it, but
Yeah.
like he made a lot of sense because he said, "New York, you're not allowed to have primates as a pet."
Yeah.
And who would let their little pet monkey go up in a tree in the
No.
middle of the night?
Unleashed, right?
Yeah.
No way.
No. I mean, especially, I'm sure you paid through the dime for something like that, and you just wouldn't do that. A animal lover, or even
Yeah,
not
you
an
wouldn't
animal,
think. Yeah.
you wouldn't do that.
Mhm. No.
A lot of things about it
Now,
doesn't make sense.
even if even if they weren't allowed to have pet monkeys in New York, I mean, people break the law in New York every day. So I mean, who's to say that somebody was, hey, I got my pet monkey. The hell with what New York said, but you know, or could have been somebody from out of state visiting with their pet monkey. You know, so
Could be. We don't
I
know.
mean, there's little scenarios you can look at. I'm not, you know,
Right.
yeah.
It's just interesting. It is really interesting, and it happened. And to me, it wasn't a puppet. It looked, you could see the swinging, and it was high. It wasn't like it was just right there.
Yeah.
You know, that tree was pretty far back from that group.
Oh yeah.
And there were people everywhere, which is another confusing thing.
Right.
How, okay,
Yeah.
if that was a Bigfoot, how did it get right in the middle of all those people who were partying around that lake that day?
Yeah.
And just was like being casual? Because if you
Actually,
could
yeah,
see
now that
it, it could see them. So if a Sasquatch, Bigfoot are elusive to hiding from us, how is that hiding, you know, with a baby like that? It's so many questions about that video. Don't make sense.
that's actually a good point. I didn't think of that. All those
Yeah.
people, and yeah, that's right.
lot of
Why would a Bigfoot be there? You know,
With all the noise, and wasn't it 4th of July?
I mean, who knows?
So doesn't make sense. How,
I don't. Yeah.
you know, I don't know. There's a lot of questions, which makes it
Maybe it was little
seem
Daryl and
more.
his mom.
Maybe it was a
Yeah.
big guy out there with his monkey and we don't see the leash. I don't know. You know, I don't know.
I didn't see nothing that. Yeah, I didn't see nothing. Well, of course, if it was a leash, it would have been.
It would have
I
been
mean,
hard
the
to see
video
if
was
it was
blurry enough as it
small.
is. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
because it
I
was
don't
pretty
see.
blurry. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
But
Interesting.
it's real. So I think it's real. In the fact that it's something living, it's not fake. It's not CGI'd, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that either. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's
But
see.
that's one of my
The Lost
favorites.
Cryptids Conservatory said, Lost Cryptids Conservatory says, I did an enhancement on my channel. He said, it is real and it's definitely not an antenna.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Even I could tell that and I didn't enhance it.
yeah. Huh. Yeah, because, I can understand what people are saying when they say an antenna. At the tips of antennas, people, on some rare occasions, people put like something on top of there, like a little ball or something.
Well,
on the top
the
of the
biggest people who debunk, they love to watch photos of moving objects and say, oh, that's a leaf and it's closer than you think it is, in the view.
Right.
So they like to use that as a way of saying this is a hoax because that's just a leaf. And some of them, they have turned out to be like that, because if you do your enhancements and blow-ups, you can see the stem coming off the vine that you never saw before and blah, blah, blah. But, it's one of the main things used to debunk stuff back in a tree up high. You're looking at a leaf moving because you're moving and maybe you're walking and your camera's moving, at the same time. So you get this illusion effect of things in the background.
Well, I'll tell you what, I myself was very close to being fooled. In one of my own videos, this is probably a year or two ago, maybe a couple of years ago. One of my field videos, like in the particular area I was in, I always, if I'm filming something, I have a habit, I'll scan the surrounding area, like there's one particular area in general. The ridge, I was going up a slight incline, and then the ridge was up above me, and I was up to a mid-level where it kind of leveled out a little bit. And I was checking the area out, and I was just scanning through the video like this. Now, I didn't notice till later on after I viewed the footage, and I kept looking at something. I said, what the heck is that? Up on the ridge, what appeared to be something that looked like it jumped off a tree, landed on the ground, went back, and then came back over. And I said, that looks like something small, like a humanoid little figure that jumped off a tree that ran out and then came back over. And even somebody else thought that was the case. And I kept looking at it. I had to slow it down and then realized, I looked at the scenario. I was like, it was a leaf on a limb. It's the way I was panning, and then I slightly must have panned back a little bit because that's what it was. It was a leaf that was trickling on a branch limb, and it was dark looking, and it's just the ridge was in the background. So it was interesting. It almost had me fooled, but that's all it was like a little leaf that was just I had to kept replaying it until I was like, till I understood it. So. But sometimes things can be deceiving. Sometimes they catch us off guard on little things. I think the average person would have just took and ran with it. It's like, I got a juvenile. Look at it, jumped out of a tree and ran back. But it would have been great if it was something. It really would have. I would have been tickled pink. But,
well, when you're out there as a researcher, that's what your mind is set. Your mind is set to see that. You kind of want to see that. That's what you see.
Right. Exactly. That's what we want to see. Yeah.
You want to see it, and your mind's going to want to see stumps, squatches. Your mind's going to want to see whatever,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think almost the best incredible ones to me seem like the ones where they weren't out there looking for them. They were out there doing something else and something happened, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Those stories or situations seem more genuine to me. Only because that's not the influence, behind it.
Right. Well, Daniel,
Right.
can I tell you a story about my camping trip last weekend real quick?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Okay, am I coming through okay, first of all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, so thank you. So we went camping last weekend, like you were talking about earlier, and we were having fun. I wasn't out there researching because you guys know that I don't do that actually. I don't go looking for these things. I like to have fun in the woods. I'd actually prefer them to not be around. Is my opinion. But anyway, we're having fun. We're hanging out. Ernie came up from his cabin. We all hung out. Social distance, of course. And then Ernie left, and we ate dinner. And then I stepped away from camp for a moment, to relieve myself. And all of a sudden, I see through the trees, up in an area of the woods where we're camping that know nothing anyone should be, lights, like crazy lights. Like it was this white Christmas tree lights just moving through the woods towards me at maybe a couple hundred, 200-300 yards at the most. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, really? This is a thing? This is a thing, and I kind of like, I didn't lose my cool, but I kind of was freaking out in my head a little bit. And so I got Kim to come over and look at it to confirm. And sure enough, she sat down and next to me and confirmed it. And all of a sudden we started whispering. I mean, things got weird. Yeah. And here come these lights, man. They were just creeping through the woods slowly. Like it just looked like white Christmas tree lights moving through the woods. It was illuminating part of the woods. And finally I called Ernie, man, because he, his cabin was a few hundred yards away. And I was like, dude, you gotta come see this. I'm seeing the thing that people talk about, the lights in the woods, And he kind of like, he was annoyed by it at first, but he was finally like, okay, fine. I'll put my boots on and come back to camp. And yeah. And so I almost felt bad calling him, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. These lights were just moving weird through the woods. And you know me, I mean, I'm a fairly objective guy. I'm a critical thinker. I don't jump to conclusions, but what I was seeing was blowing my mind, man. And so after I got off the phone with him, knowing that he was like going to come down and check this out, it finally hit me. I was like, dude, you gotta get yourself out of I was too focused on what I was looking at. I wanted a better like perspective, So I walked 20 feet away. I was like, okay, just move 20 feet and look at it from that perspective. And it was the moon rising.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
Yep. And there was a cat howling in the background. That's irrelevant. I was looking at the freaking moon coming up over the ridgetop through the trees, and it did make the crazy lights that I'm telling you about. Like, I'm not lying. I saw what I saw, but it wasn't actual lights or orbs. It was just the moon shining through all the foliage, and it looked so bizarre. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And all it took was for me to move 20 feet away, and I could tell that it was the moon rising above that ridgetop. So there you go. That's how you can easily mistake things in the woods. It freaked me out. I was totally freaked. Yeah.
Oh, easily, yeah. Strange phenomenons out there. I mean, it's weird. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad that you were able to find what it was that situation got debunked, because in a lot of situations where you hear stories that are bizarre and odd and where people think they're not natural, I really see this is my opinion. I think a lot of people just they don't try to find out what it is, or they
No
might
curiosity.
get freaked out and just go off and
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I just think a lot of people just run with it and say, "This is what I experienced. I seen these lights in the woods." They didn't try to go after it. They didn't try to move around and catch it. Like what you said, you got around and move at different angles, so you actually saw the source. When you moved in the right position.
Yeah. Well,
I got
I wish
scared
more
to
people
death
would try to do
from
stuff
the
like
first
that.
elk bugle I heard. When you
Oh
don't
man,
know what you're hearing in a canyon and that shit echoes, it's like freaky. It's a dusk, and you're like out there, and it's like, oh my god, what the hell's that? And it takes your mind a while to process what's going on. And if you take off,
yeah,
you don't want to know, but we didn't take off. We were at camp already, so it's like, okay, that's what that is. It's just the elk, but it's still kind of eerie,
right?
Hearing something come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you in my case, I know what happened. I can sort of psychoanalyze myself after the fact. Is that I got hyper focused on what I was seeing, and I got tunnel vision, and it looked magical. I mean, the moon is magical anyway, right? Even when you're looking at the moon, it looks magical almost.
Well, the moon was really big too last week.
Yeah, and so I just got hyper, like I got intensely focused on what I was looking at, and didn't know how to interpret it because I hadn't determined that it was the moon yet, and it just looked weird as hell. It looked like like 2,000 like strand of white Christmas lights just creeping through the moon, the forest.
Wow.
Like this. And it got me to the point in my head. At one point I said, okay, I'm going to here's what's going to happen. If it keeps coming towards me, I'm going to shoot at it and get in the car and leave. Yeah. Get the dogs. We're going. I'm going to shoot at it and we're out of here. I mean, it was really freaking me out. And I felt like such an idiot when I realized it was the moon. I had to call Ernie back, say, "Oh, dude, it's the moon. Don't come down here. Don't come down here." So even me, man, and I'm a hypercritical thinker, like got completely sucked into something that had nothing to do with anything. It was completely normal, completely natural. And even I got sucked in for a few minutes to thinking that lights were approaching my camp. It's weird. It was very bizarre. Yeah.
Well, right here, Blount County Bigfoot Research Organization. For those who don't know, that's Brandon. His name is Brandon. Right here, he mentions the ones I've talked to that see this saw a blue ball, but through a camera, and it wasn't showing up. Now, Nikki, do you recall the picture? It's a picture I posted of. It was over a church, and I was basically taking a picture of the sunset or the sun over the clouds, but with the camera there was a blue ball in that one, and I think I was trying to only make it a joke out of it because I know where the blue ball came from, the blue light, the little round speck, and on multiple occasions, looking through my camera on different angles of lighting, it depends on where you're at. There's different. Most of the time it is blue. Sometimes I've seen like a yellowish or orange colored ball, and as he mentioned, it's through a camera, and exactly where you'll see it. Like I know on my camera phone, it's been picked up numerous times. So it's actually a type of reflection from the lens with the lighting that's projecting.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
the lens flare
bouncing off and projecting.
Lens flare photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that is.
And that's one thing that's very common. Right. So that, as far as I'm concerned, any light balls that show up through camera lenses and on pictures, most of them could be really debunked. Even for professional photographers will explain this. Not just dust particles, but light fixtures and particles, and even some of the ones that are involved with, paranormal and ghost hunting. A lot of them, some of them kind of go along with it, but then there's some that are very objective too. They're not just your average, let's go look for ghosts, take pictures of random stuff. A lot of them are semi-professional photographers that understand photography, and a lot of them will explain the same thing to you. And a lot of this could be debunked. So
I agree.
So it's very important to understand that that's something to be careful of.
Yeah. Anything caught on camera that you can't say that you also saw it with your own eyes, then it's just photo optics.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm.
I thought I could find the picture,
absolutely.
but I don't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my new phone. I don't have many pictures in this phone here. Unfortunately, I had a lot of my pictures and stuff didn't get switched over in this phone because my other phone, it went dead. It died. There was no way for me to get it on, and so I had to manually get things set up on here. So I'm basically starting from scratch on here. That's including my TikTok. I can't get my other TikTok. Yeah, so it doesn't TikTok. On TikTok. I know you can't log in on it. You got to start all over. So
I totally got hooked on that the last 2 days. Only because my kids said, "Don't get on TikTok, Mom." So I had to go on there just to check it out, and I haven't put the damn thing down. 2:00 in the morning, I'm still watching damn videos of people dancing.
Oh my. Yeah, this new phone, it's smaller than my other phone. I wasn't crazy about it, but it's a nice phone. It's smaller than what I'm used to. I got used to a bigger phone. I had a 6.5 inch phone, and this here is a 5.5 inch or so. But so, as far as I know Sam mentioned, I was going to tell him, he mentioned he had cameras out in the woods, and I got 3 cameras out in the woods. They've been out there for about 3 weeks, so I'm looking forward to checking in on them, which, now this Friday is my last work day. Then I'm off for a whole week. So, I probably won't go out there till Saturday. That way I'll probably get up fairly early Saturday and try to find a decent spot, or the one I wanted. Because usually during Memorial Weekend, a lot of people like to go out that way to camp. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case this time, because looking at the weather, they're calling for rain, so some people might not even bother unless they get campers and RVs and plan on being out there for a little while. But yeah, I'll get out there. I'll get my because my tent doesn't take long to get set up at all. So, Pat, you and Kim are still welcome to come up if you can make it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. We might make it up for a couple of days or so, something like that. We'll see.
All right. If you do, let me know. If you could let me know by Friday, that way I can try to meet you somewhere, because there's no phone reception in the area, so I would have to drive out of the area to get phone reception. So
I got you. Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah. It'd be fun. I mean,
all right, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, hopefully the Porta-Johns are opened up out there. They have a Johnny house out there. That's the spot I like to camp at is actually right across the entrance of the lake. And as you pull into the entrances, right on the right hand side, there's a set of Johnny houses right there. Because of everything, they got them locked up, which doesn't make no sense. It's not like 10 people go in there at a time. I mean, you got a male and female side, so it's like whatever,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's their way of not passing, spreading germs. It doesn't make no sense. But
No, it doesn't.
So, but
yeah, they're just trying to keep people from being out and being around each other, I guess, by not having facilities.
and
Yeah.
well, check this out too. Even though that's right there at the entrance to the lake, you're allowed to go down to the lake to go fishing, but they got the metal. There's a metal gate right there. They have that closed and locked, so everybody's got to park at the entrance and walk all the way down to where the lake is, instead of allowing people to go down to the parking lot. There's a lot bigger space down there, and the park is be spread out. So instead, they got everybody parking clustered together right there.
Right.
That don't make no sense either. But you know, so yeah, because my father's been wanting to go out there to go fishing, but Dad's like, I'm not going to walk all the way down there.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dad has bad knees. You know, me and Dad were at Walmart yesterday, and, walking around. And, I keep forgetting I'm walking ahead of Dad. I was like, oh crap, I got to stop. Dad, hurry up! Nah, I'm just joking. But, I don't know why he doesn't get on one of those scooter things. It'll be a lot easier for him. So. Yeah, but yeah, he's got bad knees. So, but yeah, he might come out there. I said, he's been talking about wanting to get out there. I said, Dad, even if it's for a few days, come on out there. He said, yeah, I might do that. I said, better. I'm always trying to get Dad to get out there, but it's been a few years since Dad's been out there. He did camp with me a few years back. It was me and a few others. We camped there, but yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, Dad enjoyed it because he got to experience. We had a really hard and loud tree knock that happened after 10 o'clock at night, right across from our camp, in the same area, same woods, same patch of woods where we had our encounter at back in 2014. So I was actually kind of excited that Dad got to at least hear that. It brought him out of his tent when he heard that, because he had just gotten in his tent. He wasn't even in there for about 10 minutes or so. And he was trying to lay down or whatever, because it's 60 degrees at that particular time. It was about 60 degrees at night. And for Dad at that time, it was kind of cold because, he used to have to take, heart medicine, blood pressure medicine that thinned his blood. So it made him a lot cooler. So, but
yeah.
What's this? That way they actually find. Okay, I was trying to see something. Robert mentioned something. I don't know what area he was referring to. I don't know. They're talking amongst themselves, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm excited just to be out there, spend some time out there. But looking forward to that. So, like I said, I'm pretty much geared up. I got all my stuff. I got a lot of my camp gear stays in my vehicle. As far as food and a few other miscellaneous things I have here in the house. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing around with all my gizmos and gadgets. Looking at what?
New tents. I went to go look for some ones. Yeah, I can't find the rain fly. What the one that goes on the top of your tent? Last year,
most tents come.
We went camping and I opened everything up and it wasn't in there because of the move when we moved.
Really?
I don't know where the movers packed that thing up. So good thing I always pack tarps, you always should have tarps. So
yeah,
I patched the tarp over it and it was fine. But I have to get a new tent because that one's already like 10 years old. But a bigger one. I want a big one. Yeah. My sister and brother-in-law have one of those big ones that's hold up with the rods, and it looks like a house when you put it up.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
It's a pain to
I got 3 tents.
It's a pain to put together, but once it's up, they're like living large in that big old thing. They have one of those big old mattresses that pops up big, and it looks like a whole bedroom in there when they're done with it.
Yeah, well, my big tent, it's considered a cabin tent, but it's got it's basically like, it's pretty big. I forget the size of it, but it's got a divider where it makes it 2 separate rooms if you want to. Like if you got like kids, you can put the kids. Yeah, that's what this is. It's got a zip down divider, or you can open it up and fold it open. But it's also got when you step outside of it, it's got a screened in section where you can sit outside, but it's all screened in. So that's my big tent. And then I got my small tent. Well, compared to the 3 I got, it's more my medium tent. It's the one I mainly take with me. It's just a simple 1-room tent, and it fits two cots in there comfortably. Where because I know when I went to South Carolina back in October, me and Frank, he had his cot and I had my cot. We camped out on Melissa George's property, and so it was just right because there was just enough room between the 2 cots to where we could keep our gear and everything. And I usually tuck a lot of my stuff underneath my cot anyway. But so yeah, it's a comfortable tent. It's a nice tent. I like the way it's designed because it's a dark tent. It keeps it nice and dark in there. But it's also designed where even with the cover over top of it, it's got you can unzip it. It's got like plastic see-through, like kind of like sunlight or whatever you call it, like ceiling lights. Yeah.
Call it
yeah. Then yeah. Then my little baby tent, that's my backpack tent. It's actually designed for 2 people, but I had to get it designed for 2 people. That way I haven't used it yet, but it's something I can throw in my backpack. And if I go hiking and decide to set up camp somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, that's what I got it for. I plan on doing that. So, yeah, it's a neat little thing. It's only probably just as long as I am and only about 2 or 3 feet high. So, but, and it's only about probably 3 or 4 feet wide.
All my gear needs
by the time you set it up. So
redone. I need everything.
Yeah.
It's just my stuff's really old, and it was okay because I would pair it next to wherever my dad had his motorhome. So, you just need something to sleep in. So it really wasn't like we were living or cooking near it or anything. But now my dad's selling his 5th wheel. So now I got to really rough it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, get me a pop-up. I was looking at the pop-up trailers too.
I could have got me a pop-up, but I know like my parents and several other people kind of talked me out of don't bother because they're nice, but they end up getting a lot of trouble. The mechanisms, the things that raise up end up getting broke, and the linings could get old and worn out and rip and tear. It would end up costing you more in the long run to keep repairing it. But so I don't know. I was tempted. I've camped in a pop-up a long time ago. I was a young kid, but I liked them though. So
well, I think for somebody who doesn't go out all the time, it's okay. You know? But if you go out a lot,
I guess it's good, especially. Yeah. It's eventually one of these days I might try to get me a camper. I really want one. For me, I don't need a big one. But
they have some really nice little ones, but they're still over 10 grand.
Oh yeah. Some of these ones that you see that are being pulled by a small car, they look like they call them teardrops, I think, or something like that. Yeah. They're like
where the kitchen's on the outside.
Yeah, they're smaller than a car. Some of them, some of them are like that. Even some bikers will pull these small little camper things that you just slide into them. Yeah. So, But yeah, Pat, you and Kim, you guys camped out in a little tent. Do you guys use air mattress, or did you guys have cots or?
We tried to use the air mattress, but they leak. They're notorious leakers, So I don't like them. I don't like trapping cold air underneath me anyway. I'd rather be on the ground. So we're finally getting to the point where I think we're going to stop using them. But she says, 35 degrees outside and you have 35 degrees of air underneath you. That's when you get cold. I like primitive camping with, we have a technically what's they call a 4-man tent, which is really only for 2 people. You know.
Yeah, it's funny how
right.
they do that, huh? You always have to be
Yeah.
like, okay, it says 10, so it means maybe 4
Yeah.
with
But
all your crap and everything. Maybe.
yeah, if you're in the military. But yeah, we got this. Let's see if I can we got this for the tent, which helps a lot.
What is
Oh,
that?
You know.
oh, one of the little heater buddies. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Propane heater. But you have to be your own thermostat.
Yeah, they make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, they make the a little bit bigger ones.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the little bit bigger ones they make. I think sometimes you can put 1 or 2 canisters in them. They supposedly. Well, I know one propane canister that you screw into them usually lasts up to 4 hours. So.
Yeah.
I know.
The problem I have with it is the fact that you have to get up, you have to turn it off or turn it on. Like it doesn't have a thermostat built into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you either get too hot or too cold. You know.
Huh.
My
Yeah.
sister's on.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, she said.
But yeah,
There she is right there. It says, "Hello, love."
I just love primitive camping, man. And again, let me remind you guys and the audience, when I'm doing that, I don't want whatever these things are, I don't want them around me. Like, I don't invite them. I don't want them there. I'm not out there I don't care if I see a footprint or not. I'd rather not, like, the Bigfoot world fascinates me, man. Like, I'm just now getting into being around people in the Bigfoot world after 20 years. And I'm fascinated by the fact that people want to be connected to a very strange, wild animal / I don't know, supernatural thing. I don't know what they are. Like, do any of these people want to go go hunt grizzly bear? Like probably not. So why would you want to be around a Bigfoot? Just don't get it. Like,
well, everybody's got their thing, something that you find just so
their own agenda
interesting that you've got to go do it. Like I had a fascination with tigers.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it. I went to Thailand and I played with the damn tigers and now I'm over it.
Yeah.
I went and did the whole
Nikki
elephant
Cologne.
in the jungle thing. I did it. I won't ever do that again. That was scarier than the damn tigers.
Yeah,
but I did it.
You weren't trying to go play with tigers in the wild.
No.
Yeah,
no,
that's
not.
Point.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like I actually do understand why people feel connected to the phenomenon because it's interesting and they feel special if they have an encounter or they have wood knocks or whatever.
True.
They feel very Nikki the Tiger, Carol Baskin. What did you say,
Carol Baskin?
Huh? Yeah, so I get the connection why people like even Daniel. Like Daniel goes out there, by himself, and he's probably hoping he gets a wood knock or something. And it's like as well as I know Daniel, I really don't understand that. Like I don't go out in the woods by myself. I just don't. I don't do it anymore. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable.
Well, just something like a tree knock. If I hear a tree knock, if I could distinguish if it's something other than a woodpecker, or a fallen tree or limb or whatever, if I, especially if it's a response to a tree knock that I might do. If I get a response from them, then I feel that's most likely that's something hitting back. And when I hear that, that's usually let me know that they're there and they're indicating that they're giving me their location. That's my conclusion because I've had a couple different experiences when I've gotten those responses. So but it's mainly the thing is they're telling on themselves, regardless if they think I'm another Squatch or whatever. I mean, that's my opinion. That's how I feel. Does it make it fact? No, but it's my conclusions to just based off of observations and some of my experience that I've had. But but yeah, it's exciting because especially if you hear vocalizations in the woods and you're like, wait a minute, that's you're hearing that and you're not recognizing it to be anything that's known to give off that type of vocalization. I guess it all boils down to there's an excitement behind it.
Yes.
To know what's they experience some of this. So
Yeah.
it's there's times that it gives you an adrenaline rush in a way, especially when you hear things that sound like they're very close to you. For example, like in one of the areas where one of my trail cameras are at, it's in the same area where I found that small track that I believe to be a possible juvenile track. But a week before that, I was in that same area and something, I don't know what, but something was making like, oh type sounds. And it wasn't an owl. It was something that was like, I don't know how to describe it, but that's the closest I could really mimic it. But and here I am. I'm up in the woods, and over on one side it's a ridge where it drops straight down and goes into the valley of West Virginia. So I don't know. There's something out there. There's definitely something in that area that's working that area, because to another mountain range that connects not far off from there, there's that mountain range has got a history of sightings. So there's something working in that general area, and so that's why I'm trying to find out what's going on there, and hopefully I'll pick something up on my camera. So
yeah.
Did you see who's on?
I guess time will tell.
But
What's that?
I said, did you see who's on? Big Sexy, Big Nye, the Bigfoot guy.
Oh, wait, hold on. Where's that at? Oh, there he is. Yeah. Big Nye. Yeah, Buck Nye. The Bigfoot guy from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
yeah, he's from Canada, eh?
Let me ask you this, Daniel. Have you ever stood close to like a replica of what a Bigfoot would actually be, like a replica statue, like an 8 foot tall, 4 foot wide shouldered replica of a Bigfoot? Have you ever been like stood next to one of those things?
The closest I've been to any kind of replica would be a wood carving or one of the real big giant statue in Ohio at the little country store up the street from outside of the park. They got a Bigfoot statue in one of the stores there in Ohio, which was a pretty bulky thing. So,
right.
So yeah, between a wood carving and a statue, that's about it. So.
Right. So it was about the right proportions, though. Like, so it was about the 8 foot tall sort of measurement.
Well, the statue itself was, besides it being wide, it was more hunched over. So if it was designed to where it was standing straight up, it would probably only be around 7, a good 7 feet maybe.
Right.
So if it's but yeah, trust me, I often visualize what I would come across, what it would be. Because like I said, our encounter in 2014, there was 3 subjects there, but it was the tallest one that was the only one that we were able to make out the shape from the shoulders on up, and they were pretty broad, and that there was approximately around 8 foot tall. So, besides that was, that gives me a good idea of what average is out there. I've heard of other sightings that happened in the area from people that didn't know who I was. They claimed to have seen them cross the forest road out there on them, but they said only 6 foot tall is what they saw. So, I mean, I haven't heard of anything reported too big. 6 foot is the only other thing I've heard reported from others out there. So,
I would say 8 feet tall is about the average for people who have encounters. And I've seen a replica in the Bigfoot Museum a few miles away from me, there's a actually really good Bigfoot museum here in North Georgia, and I've stood in front of that thing, and my only point here is when I look at it and I see the 8-foot height and the 4-foot wide shoulders, and I look at that replica, the only thing I can think is I don't want that thing anywhere near me. I like it would be crazy to attract something that Hulk size looking to come around and be around you. It just kind of blows my mind that anybody could ever be comfortable enough to want something that size and strength and not know what they are to be around them. It kind of blows my mind, actually.
Well, I've heard other stories of people here, right here in Virginia, and probably about half hour, 45 minutes north of where I spend a lot of my time at. I heard a story. It was an old story, but it was still exciting to hear. 3 individuals went camping, and out of the 3 individuals, the one of them was the one who shared the story to me. And I made mention of this before, but this particular area where they were camping at, one of them, this was at nighttime, it was dark, they had a fire going, and the one of them had to walk off from camp to go take care of his business. And where he wandered off to, he got to this area. Keep in mind, I think all he had with him was either a flashlight or a lantern. I can't remember the details. It may have been a lantern. I don't know. But when he got to the spot where he was getting ready to, get situated, he heard some rustling in the bushes right behind him. And he turns around, and he's literally face to face, about 5 feet apart from the subject that's probably over 7.5 to almost 8 feet tall. And for a quick 5 seconds, there was like what do you call it? A staring contest. And and when this happened, this guy bolted off, ran back towards camp. And when he got back to camp, never said nothing to the other 2 guys. Just stayed up all night long and making the fire bigger, kept the fire going all night long. And it was probably over 20-something years. The guy never shared his story, told anything. The guy who shared this story to me told me how he had reached out to that guy and told him, asked him what happened. He asked him, he said, what happened that night? And the guy said, well, you probably never believe me. And then the guy said, try me. And keep in mind, this guy that's sharing the story, he's a skeptic, but he believes there's something out there. Well, the guy told him that story about what he saw, and it's just there was no aggression, no sign of aggression. I don't know if they were both caught off guard. That's probably the case in some sightings. That's the way I take it. Where a lot of them are caught off guard, and they're just like that. Bigfoot was probably like, dude, get away from here. This is my area. Like, what are you doing here? But there was no report of no growls and no aggression, whatever. But for somebody to see something like that, especially if they don't believe it or believe in something like that or think of something like that, they're in their minds, like, they're shocked. For one thing, they go into shock because, hey, this ain't supposed to be here. What the heck is this? So, and I believe that's the situation with a lot of people. They see something. I've heard stories where people that used to make fun of people for believing in something like this, and then they end up having an encounter. And again, in their mindset, this is not supposed to exist. So. But yeah, people, things happen when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Again, and it is true what people say. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say also the sheer size. If you're looking at something that big, we're talking 4-foot wide shoulders here. People often even admit on air or when they're telling their story, admit that they urinated themselves. It was that, intimidating. And my only point is, why would you ever elicit that kind of thing to be near you? Thus, people go out in the woods looking for them. It's like, be careful what you look for. You just might get it, right? You know, like, I don't know, man.
Right.
I say that's a no-go. Yeah. Like, don't put yourself in a position where you're around them. We don't know enough about them. We don't know their capabilities. We know their capabilities based on their size. They could throw you 30 feet through the air, you know. We don't know. We don't know their temperament. Like, I just say, I mean, if anything, it's a dangerous wild animal, potentially dangerous wild animal. Like, people should not be going out in the woods by themselves looking for these things. And I know that you do that, and I'm not criticizing you. I'm just kind of throwing out a devil's advocate. That's all.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like they say, you know, you want to show them respect, and you know, it's like any wild animal. You know, I really don't think we have much to worry, but long as you don't put them in that position to become aggressive or a threat. So I mean, although, you know, I've done something crazy before. I was riding down a forest road one time, and just fairly decent. It wasn't too big, but it wasn't small either. But nice looking black bear ran across the forest road on me, and it wasn't that far in front of me, but I was able to pull off. I was excited. I grabbed my camera phone when I went running through the woods. I wanted a picture of this bear.
Yeah.
But he was way up ahead of me. And then I saw him in the distance. He stopped, and he kind of got up on his stump and was broadside looking at me. That's okay. Click, click, bye. You know, so I ran back to my vehicle quick. But you know, that's something crazy I've done. That's the only time I've ever done like anything like that. But yeah, something like a Bigfoot. I don't know. You know, if it comes to it, you know, I don't know. You know, I've often fantasized, especially during the daytime, if I ever have an encounter during the daytime where I can see clear details and everything. That's my thing. I want to observe it the best I can, and maybe learn something by observing from it, you know, of it, and so, and just get what I can, learn from it, observe from it, and just share it with people, you know, because that's one thing I wanted to be able to do is, you know, I know a lot of people share their stories and everything, and I think we all, you know, everybody who has had a sighting, who has seen something, a Bigfoot or whatever, I think it's safe to say we could all learn from it if we take the time to analyze that situation, you know, and think about it. You know, like our encounter in 2014, there were 6 of us total, and 3 of them. And I honestly believe that they were just curious. They were, you know, we may have caught them off guard, you know, and it's just we didn't feel threatened. I know I didn't. I was actually excited, and you know, I don't know. It was just I don't know. It was just something else. It was different. It was very different. But you know, if they wanted to, could they have hurt us? Sure. It's the same situation in 2015 when I was camping and there was no one else around. But when I was shining my spotlight in the woods right across from camp, there was something very large and heavy, and it was definitely bipedal. When I shined the spotlight, I didn't see it, but it was just inside the tree line where the light must have hit it, and it started walking off. You know, I was like, well, whatever this is much bigger than me. So very most likely, you know, it could have hurt me if it had aggression, if it was something that wanted to attack, it sure could have, because I was unarmed, you know, so I would have been shit out of luck. Even if I ran into my vehicle, you know, I mean, my shotgun was back at camp because this was during hunting season, and I was the only one camping out during that time. So, but I just think they don't want to be bothered. You know, if you do catch them off guard, I think they're going to check you out because in some cases, I believe, you know, we may be new to them. How often do they observe us? You know, how often do they get to see us in the area? So
true.
But
I think again, it can go back to what we were talking about earlier, how there could be different personality Bigfoot out there. Some that are more aggressive and are going to growl and knock wood or whatever. And some that are curious and might know of humans more and don't feel threatened and will come in closer to inspect, to,
Right.
for their curiosity's sake. So I think there can be
Absolutely.
several different types of Bigfoot. And if you're startled one, maybe it was windy. Maybe you came up, from downwind. Maybe there's elk in the area or deer in the area. Maybe they have a sensitive nose and was smelling prey and it wasn't you, because I've heard
Right.
stories of hunters who were dragging deer rags that, had experiences, but they didn't smell like themselves. So I don't know. It could
Right.
be anything.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely want to respond to Robert right here. He said, Daniel, how are the Bigfoots caught off guard when most people say that Bigfoots always know when you're in their area, usually when you first show up in the area? Well, that's what a lot of people say, but there's no proof of that. There's no evidence to suggest that they know you're there. We assume that they know because it's their territory. They know the land better than we are, better than we do. Some of us, like me, for example, I could take somebody out there. You could drop me in the middle of the woods in my area, blindfolded. I'll know where I'm at, or I'll know how to find my way out. I've gotten so used to that area. I've been in the area out there in the middle of the woods in the dark with somebody, and that certain somebody didn't know how to find his way out. I had to show him how to get out of there. It's just that woods has become my playground. That's how I know the area very well. But again, back to how do people know if we catch them off guard? Well, Nikki made a good point. And again, we don't know if they know that we're there. There's no evidence that suggests that. I know in a number of cases, I believe that is a possibility that they are watching us or they become aware of us. So yeah, there's no evidence to suggest that. But it is I like to believe that they do know. Yeah, absolutely, Robert. I like to believe that they do know that we're there, or that they do observe us, especially if we stumble into a certain particular area deep enough where they may be hiding. Like so for example, certain areas I go into that seem real thick, like certain areas that have a lot of this. In my area, some of the areas get real thick because it's got a lot of the mountain laurel. And I'm very cautious. I feel a slight unease about venturing into some of these areas because I do believe a lot of wildlife bunker and bed down into these areas. As far as we know, predators could be bunkered down. I believe some of those areas could act as a ambush area, and that's one thing I always look at them as, because if I can't see into them, I'm taking a chance walking into them, because I might startle something, and if I scare something, then there could be aggression, But yeah, that's just the way I look at it. So,
well,
ladies and gentlemen,
yeah. Again, like,
what's up, Kelly?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hi.
Sorry I'm late.
Hey.
I had an emergency, a family emergency, so I'm back.
Hey, better late than never.
Yeah, right.
So,
the soul man has arrived.
Yeah. So what's been the news? We have been talking about.
Oh, nothing.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, we proved their existence, and the world is shocked. Yes, we've accomplished. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been a nice.
We're talking about Daryl.
It's a nice night to go out there squatching. Bigfooting or whatever tonight. Investigating, I guess. The night.
Yeah.
It's nice out there tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is comfortable. I know up this way it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's cool. Not too warm, not too hot, not too cold. So I'm trying to get my buddies in the islands over here from St. Thomas to come pick me up so we can go, ride and use the spotlight. Sometimes we can go late at night from 7 at night until about 5 in the morning to spotlight country roads, you know, way out in the middle of nowhere. You know, so that's what we do.
You want to be careful doing that. You can get arrested.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Spot, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know here in Virginia, you doing that, if you're spotlighting outside of a vehicle, yeah, you can get in trouble. They could blame you or saying that you're trying to poach.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a gun?
No, yeah. I mean, they would
Oh,
totally,
wow. Wow.
Yeah, they could just write you a ticket for poaching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. We used to do that in high school all the time. We used to
What
go
else are you
spotlight.
doing? You know, like if you're out in the middle, you're driving down.
We were playing car tag. Did you ever do that in the woods? Everybody got in their own car and you chase the shit out of each other on the dirt roads until you got lost.
Yeah. I didn't do that. I know what you're talking about.
I can't say I've done that.
You'd have to meet up at a certain place at a certain
things.
time. And if you didn't, then everybody had to go look for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way
I can't say I've done that. I've done some crazy things, but not that.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, like 1 o'clock in the morning, you get out there. Scary. And then the dirt roads would get so dusty you couldn't tell what was going on. You know.
My friend, Ken in North Carolina, he's younger than me, but he used to be, him and his brother used to night fish a lot. He used to float the river from Johnson County all the way to Wilson County, which is probably like an hour's worth of, going on the boat, floating the river and fishing, and he used to like to fish. And I never liked it as fast car, right? I'm kind of like the other dude.
Did we lose him?
I think he froze up.
Months ago, I went down to Kinley to see him and his wife and his kids, and little boy now is, like the kid's like, last time I seen the little boy, he was a baby, and now he's like 15, so it's been a while. But he used to like to jump over the river, with his friends down. Yeah, like
he'd be Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, I mean, for real, and I'd be like, oh shit, man, I'd be sitting there, man, I had to bring a change of pants or something,
The General Lee.
Yeah. It'd be crazy. He'd be playing Alan Jackson loud, either Alan Jackson or some hip hop music, and he liked the country and he liked to rap.
Oh, he froze again.
He's freezing up.
The News River is kind of big.
Yeah. So how you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing good. I've got something to fight, Corona. Hold on, I'll show you what it is. It ain't nothing bad.
Uh-oh.
It's not illegal, so. Just right here, my friend. $15. That right there is a great aid.
Nice.
Yeah, that reminds me. I need to
Yeah.
go. I need to go reload.
Jim Beam over here in Wild Turkey. I got me a little setup on my right there on my wall. So my bedroom right at the patio. So I got all my drinks right there for me. So when I get in the middle of the night, I be coughing or something. I like to keep the window open. Get a swig of that, man. I'm good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Take a swig. Kelly, take a swig. Cheers, brother.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. It's this right here, man. This is supposed. This right here will make you like some stuff.
All right, drink up then.
My mama came and she said, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I said, "Are you high? Are you doing drugs?" I said, "No, I just want some of that corn liquor." She said, "You look like you."
Take a sip.
Man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Man. Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. I got some seagulls over here, some wild eyed crows,
Mad
Dog. I got a whole concoction of alcohol.
Kelly, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm actually happy. Enjoying the solitary existence. I've had a meaning in my life, and I don't know, things is good. I've been downloading about 100 movies every other day off of the 123movies.com. I've got these things right here. They're like 90 gigabytes, right? And they hold like,
Oh yeah.
I can put, man, a ton of movies on there. So my idea is to be like that guy in that movie, what is his name? He played in the 80s, Airwolf or something.
Jan Michael Vincent. Yeah.
A Boy and His Dog. Remember that movie?
Mhm.
69? Remember the guy remember the tent city that had the doing the nudie flicks or whatever in the movies, and people were trading them food and guns and whatever? That's part of my insane plan. If you know, if everything goes to hell, and probably will, I'll have the movies, you know, and I plan on getting me a generator when I get my stimulus check. They got, I can give me one for like 200, a nice solar energy panel one for $200. It works over there. Drives the trucks to Walmart. He goes up there where you're from, Daniel. He's from what is it? You're from Mount Pleasant, right? Daniel?
From where?
Mount Pleasant. You know where Mount Pleasant, Virginia is?
No, the name.
Pleasant,
I've heard of it, but I can't think
that's
right
where he
offhand where it's at.
with Walmart, and he goes up that way, and he goes to Maryland too. But he's gonna get me a nice generator for $200, and I'm like, yeah. So when I get my generator, I'm gonna get me a big ass TV, probably from one of these streetwalkers around here for about $20, you know. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna be sad, man, when the world ends, you know.
Yeah. You
But
will.
hey, do you know what?
Yeah.
Do you know where Harbor Freight? Have you ever heard of Harbor Freight?
It's a
Kelly?
movie company. Movie company? Or the town?
Yeah, no, the Harbor Freight. It's a store. It's kind of like a hardware store, but they sell all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could get a nice generator for probably around $200 right there, brand new. They got some nice generators there. Yeah,
I heard from the property owner. I live in a real nice place here in the middle of hell in the city, but this place here, you have to have, we have like magnet locks and keys and stuff, and you know, you have to go downstairs to beep us up, you know, and I live way up here on the third floor, which actually, this is the highest building in Durham, you know, on the hill. So, but the property that the maintenance guy was telling me today that if things go bad, you know, they can't make us move. So that's nice.
yeah, cool.
Uzis and machine guns and flamethrowers, and in case of a zombie apocalypse bad, I can, you know, be in the rear with the gear. You know what I'm saying? Rescue all the ladies out there to be coming in.
Good plan. Like it. Like that plan.
Have my own little harem up here. That'd be nice. I lost a lot of weight, man. I was, you know, hungry. We didn't have any food or any money. But people, man, strangers. I have one lady in the Bigfoot world. She's Liz. I think it's in Connecticut, like $200, man. And I'm like, I can't pay this back. I won't do, you know, I didn't want to take it, but she told me to go ahead and he'd be finished by the date. And then one of my friends here that ran for county commissioner that works here, goes to school with me, Virginia, she got me like 7 bags of groceries. So I was sitting nice, man. Actually, but I was kind of going through that for a while, you know, having to eat bread and mayonnaise with hot sauce and crackers and peanut butter for days and days and days. But I lost a lot of weight, man. So I feel good.
Yeah. Well, I see you posting pictures of food every now and then, so
yeah,
I think you're all right.
You know, Johnson County, Smithfield, North Carolina is famous for bright leaf red hots, and they made their they have a lot of magnet workers working there. The sauce is just good, man. And I usually eat them raw. You can eat them raw, and they put them with and them things is hot, man. I love them. Anything bright leaf, man. I love their just not, you know, like the hot dogs is phrase it ain't hot, and of course the hot them things, man. I'll pay $8 for a little bag, about 6 of them, you know. But I'm trying to wait for my buddy to bring me some hot chocolate up here. He's gone to some woman's house and he's talking to, and I guess giving her some money. I said, well, man, pick me up a soda.
Yeah, you need a chaser. You gotta have a chaser for that moonshine, bro.
He's froze up right now.
Now he's way froze up.
Yeah, he's
Come back.
Yeah, a lot more frozen he has been.
Come back. Come back.
All right, you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, you were froze up for a little.
You
were froze up for a little while.
Here. I woke up one time sitting here and looking at the Bigfoot stuff on YouTube, and next thing I know, man, TV, chair, and all was in the floor, So I'm hurt. Yeah, I fell face first in the TV, like bam, and but
Kelly, don't do that, man.
Sleep from now on instead of sitting here just trying to stay awake, But yeah, I get bored, man. Nothing to do. I just hope people. My mother was telling me she thinks that people are gonna. It's gonna come back probably the fall when people don't wear the mask and everything, So,
well, Kelly, can we ask you a Bigfoot question real quick?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so we were talking about wood knocks earlier.
Yeah.
So your classic Bigfoot wood knocks. I'm just curious. Did you ever see Stinky do a wood knock?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you describe that?
Warning. It's like the train was coming, or cars, or somebody coming down the road, or something who was visible in the woods. He would not let me. If he was like behind me or something, he would knock on the trees and let me know. I don't know. He was like to me. I'm not gonna go out there, attract them. I think wood knocks are warnings. They let each other know that somebody's in the woods. That's what I really believe. The wood knocks are warnings.
Right. Well,
aware. Somebody's coming your way. Knock here, knock there, knock over there, and
Yeah. Interesting.
How?
I really believe that, man. I'm not gonna go in the woods, or anywhere, even in no. That's asking for trouble, I think. So.
Well, how did he do it? Did you see him do it?
Oh, he's froze up.
Yeah.
So if he's talking, if he's telling us about it, we're missing it.
Yeah, I'm quiet. I was being quiet there I see it.
Yeah, you're kind of in and out, Kelly.
Just the back of the hand, the hand the skin is so thick, the epidermal is so thick and like leather, I always see him do it with his hands, not use no wood or anything.
And it would make that sound. It would make a wood knock sound.
Loud. It would be loud, like knock, but it wouldn't be like somebody taking a big old hear it. So
interesting.
I believe it's warnings. I don't think it's I don't go in, if a person goes in there, it's basically they're looking stupid to the Bigfoot or Sasquatch. It's really greedy. I think they're very smart and intelligent, and they're just in a different frame, than we are, I guess. I think they're more advanced than us. This is primitive, the way they live. But I really, honestly, to be honest, this world itself was like a big, zoo or something. I think that they're from here. I really do. I think this is their home, their natural home. I really do. I just have my thinking about it,
Yeah.
Yeah, the tall one says, I wonder if it's wood on wood knocks. It's hard to find a good stick up here. Something they would have to carry around. It's funny he mentioned something they would have to carry around. Like in some cases, I think maybe they do carry around. I know one story I heard. There's one guy that told me a story that him and a few others, they were riding on top of the parkway, and he admitted they were drinking. He said they were all drinking, but he will never forget seeing what they saw on the side of the road. They saw a large, hairy, covered bipedal standing just inside the tree line, and he said in the hand was a very clear, obvious, like big stick, you know. And then they drove around. They turned around to come back to look again. He was gone. But I remember them stating that he had a big stick in his hand. So I wonder if that could be, you know, a case where they might have something. So, you know, yeah, like a lot of you said, you would have to take the time to find something on the ground that's not rotted, that's going to break, you know, because a rotten stick or, you know, a good enough one, it might make a thump, but it's not going to knock as if you had a solid piece of wood or something, you know.
Yeah.
I got two different sticks I use for tree knocks. One's a small hickory stick from, you know, that goes for the handle of an axe or something, or a hatchet, and the other one is a piece of old cut up piece of log from firewood. It's a real thin one, but it's hard and it produces a good knock too. So, but yeah, that makes you wonder. They probably do. There's a good chance maybe they do carry something with them. For the ones that use that for whatever reason.
Do y'all know nails, iron nails, or what they use for the railroad? The big, you know, iron thing they use to put in the railroad.
Yeah.
Well, Stinky used to have.
Yeah.
Well, like his little.
What's up?
I told you it was like papers and trash and stuff in it. And I remember seeing those little things in there that goes on the railroad, and those big rocks would be on the railroad. This, you know, and I don't know what he would do with them, but I remember seeing them in there. So I don't know. I never seen them using anything but sticks and twisting and bending and stuff. But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tall one said it's like a rainforest up here. Most everything is wet and mossy up here. That's like it's like out you go out into the national forest out here. There's a lot of it that's like that out here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's real pretty out there when it's all like right now everything's grown in. So
I live in a nice place. Every one of you guys. I live where I live. It's nothing but it's like hilly, but it's for mostly terrain and you know mountains is very. I wish I lived in the mountains, you know, or the would be nice, or a desert would be nice. Anywhere but here, because here, bridges and stuff, and you know elevations, but no mountains or no hill, you know. So
yeah.
So and swamps and stuff and fields, but I think like going toward the coast, I think it's Highway US 70 east going real rugged areas like between here. Actually, it's between Goldsboro and Cherry Point going to the coast area, they call it. But that little area, that little section of highway, man, it's like I think 2.5 hours. You just go visit, maybe a half an hour and a half. It's just nothing but straight into nowhere. No houses, no nothing. On either side, it's like it was like the swamps that or area with the skunk apes being Raleigh. I mean, Raleigh, Florida. You know, he's Pisano or something. He's like a Hollywood guy, and he's an Italian dude. And he be always looking for skunk apes. I used to watch the show and laugh a lot, but I like this show. But he was a filmmaker who went in looking for the skunk ape, and of nothing but nowhere, you know, going to the coast. And they actually have Bigfoot signs up inside the highway. And you get a chance, Daniel or Pat or Nikki coming through North Carolina. You guys have to go on 70 East and around the coastal way around here. You get a chance to go on 70 Highway East, coming through here, to a community or something. Make sure, like South Carolina, or something you can stop through there and you'll see that they have actually have Bigfoot signs out there. They had, 8, and it says crossing. So they got to be real. I mean, the government. Is it true that Daniel, you guys? I was reading on YouTube where they said that it's a fact in Washington, state of Washington, it's illegal to kill one, right?
Nope.
I believe they probably made it a recognized species, but I don't know if it's in the whole state.
I was looking at something that was showing like a wildlife thing of what's it.
Yeah.
Well, here,
that's crazy. That's common.
Yeah, here in Virginia, there's the town of Norton, Virginia. Only the town of Norton, Virginia, they declared Bigfoot a sanctuary animal. Yeah, they up in Whitehall, New York, they did the same thing in Whitehall, New York. It doesn't cover the whole state. There's only small towns and stuff that recognize it or declare it through their local governments a recognized species,
right?
Or that's considered or make a sanctuary. But
it's all that's all municipal stuff, which has like zero real legal implications. It's all municipal. So
I guess one reason why they don't tell the public about them is because it would be chaos about people going in the woods, people trying to kill them, and then the forest industry with the trees and stuff would have a hard time. And I believe it would be chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
I disagree.
I agree with you there.
I disagree, actually.
Oh,
I don't think it would be chaos at all.
Why is that?
Because who could hunt them? Like, I mean, people have been trying for 50 years.
But I'm saying more people will be in the woods trying to find them, and it might be trouble,
No, they obviously they could just run away. Like, I mean, they can get away from people if they want to. That I think the data is very clear on that. That when you have a Bigfoot and a person, the Bigfoot is in complete control of the situation. So if it decides to retreat and go away from a threat, it can easily do that. So there ain't no hunter in the world that could just go out there and look for them and kill them without a 30-man squad and aerial support. Without that, you're not gonna kill them.
I agree with Tom ones right there. What he said about being blamed. There's a lot more things that in the woods than Bigfoot. I know around here we have some things in the woods, and around here basically this is other than Bigfoot. It's cryptids, weird things, and I've had encounters with other things as well. I don't want to do this.
All right, he froze up again.
There's passive ones and aggressive ones. I've encountered.
There's a couple different things I want to point out. I think there's a few different angles we could look at this. If Bigfoot was declared publicly an existing species, well, this is something I shared this on the screen right here that Tall once mentioned that Bigfoot will sure get blamed for a lot more stuff, and he probably didn't do. All right, I didn't. That's something I wasn't thinking about, but other things you could consider as far as I know we've made mention of this before too. Looking at the spotted owl when that was discovered back in 1981.
The silicon?
That was immediately declared. Yeah, it was declared an endangered species, and then that put a cease to all the logging that was going on during that time. And the logging was a big part of the economy and industry, and that there affected the economy. Started to affect the economy in a major way. So if Bigfoot, let's say Bigfoot does become declared in a species, and it's put on the books or on the records as something that does exist. So here we are. We have this humanoid looking figure that's, regardless of how we want to look at him. And if Bigfoot was to get put on the endangered species list, knowing that we have this being, this subject that's living in the forest that surrounds us, and not knowing the exact population, we can only guess at that. Think about the economy. If we we still have logging. Logging is a big major part of our economy today. I know here in Virginia, logging is real big here in Virginia. And there's other industries that are involved with working with the forest and so forth. Would that stop us from cutting down sections of the forest to build more homes and subdivisions? Those are kind of things that we could look at, but and the other thing is too, if people become aware of this, oh no, there's this big hairy creature or they may refer to as a beast. They may get scared and stop wanting to go into the woods and spend time in the national parks. Mm-hmm. And of course, a lot of our states make a lot of money off the national parks. So that's just one way I'm looking at it. Could that be effective in that sort of way? But as far as the chaos kind of thing,
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's more of what it would be. I think if the public were aware of Bigfoot, they would stop going out into the woods. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be this rush of hunters. It would be this stop going out in the woods thing is the more likely scenario. That's the real impact. Yeah. People would be like, what? Right. I don't want to go out in the woods anymore.
Well, it's it's the same thing when it comes to the mountain lion or cougar. They're here in Virginia, and they're also known in the surrounding states. And also, it's the same situation in the surrounding states as it is in Virginia. I've had people respond to a blog I put on about mountain lions in Virginia. And when people call to report what they've seen either on their property or in specific areas, if they call, depends on who they call and report them to. I know especially the Department of Game and Inland Fishery, depends on who you talk to. They're going to say, no, you didn't see what you said you saw. Some of them are cool. Some of them will tell you, yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of them will deny it because they don't want it publicly known, because, it's the same thing. People get scared if they go out in the woods and find out, oh, there's mountain lions here in Virginia. I'm not going out in the woods. I mean, yeah, they're here. I've seen one. I know we definitely got bobcat. I've seen them too on my trail cameras. But so yeah, it's just people will have that fear. It'll develop fear, just like they did with Corona. It's a fear thing. People get scared and they act stupid because I mean, yeah, we got a vaccine for flu, but people still die from it. But now that's a different subject. I can rant on about that.
Yeah, but a Sasquatch is way different public knowledge than a mountain lion. People know that mountain lion exists. People don't know that Sasquatch exists. So you're dropping a way heavier load for people to wrap their heads around that. What? There's an 8-foot tall, undiscovered, upright walking, primate that lives in North America that we knew nothing about other than pop culture, Bigfoot commercials. Like that would blow their minds. They wouldn't have anything to do with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing. And I wouldn't blame them. How I feel.
Well, will people stop going out in the woods if they know we got murder hornets flying around?
The murder hornets. Yeah.
Get a big old fly out.
Again, man. I mean, compare that to it. 8-foot tall, undiscovered bipedal, primate. Like it's still like it would be a shock to people's system. It really would. And I don't think hunters would be so gung ho to go after them. And I can tell you this, if they were, they'd probably get killed. Like that, the result would be they would get killed, not the Sasquatch. we are outclassed. I think the data, 50 years of data, pretty much says, man, we are outclassed here. You can't go on their turf and get the best of them. I don't care who you are. Other than military type capabilities, you'd be screwed, man.
Mm-hmm. And there's worse things out there in the woods, I do believe, than just Bigfoot. I believe out there. So that's just my personal opinion and belief. But, you know, I think there's worse things that Bigfoot. To be old mythologies more ancient than some of the world religions, just like Sasquatch and Bigfoot is in every continent, you know. So I'm a big believer in the unknown and very open-minded to things that vampire to a miss, but I do believe there's things out there that's, you know, miss, you know. I'm like, there's a God, there's a devil, there's angels, there's demons, and whatever's in between, you know.
Yep.
Even if you're an atheist and don't believe in God, you know, there's got to be something there, you know.
But what I mean, but Kelly, you spent so much time with Stinky. I mean, what was he to you relative to what you were just talking about?
I guess like a kid brother or a friend I never had growing up.
Yeah, but like as a living creature, right?
I didn't look at him like he was an animal. I seen him like he was a person. Even though you know, it was different from me and communication and talking and speech and stuff. I looked at him like he was another kid, a person. You know, so
right.
a child or whatever, a little boy I just used to play with that was wild, and I didn't have nobody to play with and hang out with, so you know. And two, you know, before I see Stinky, I'd find dead like rabbits and something killed them and put them on my porch. And I know one who had a dog that did that, you know. So
yeah, I'm just curious, you know, because you spent so much time with him.
he was a thinking soul. To me, being like myself, that was able to think, able to grasp on certain things, communicate with me. It's like you have a dog. I had a cat, right? My cat, I don't have him no more because they told me that to get rid of him. I couldn't look after him no more because, you know, my weight was an issue at the time and my legs were bothering me. So I had trouble bending down and cutting the litter box. So I had to give my cat away, which I hated that. But the cat would not speak to human talking to me. But he would sit there. We had a way to, like, I don't know, it's like sign language. You know, you could understand each other without having words. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And we're talking to you back, but it wouldn't be in human words or in sentences and stuff, or for human vocalization. It would be, you know, you would understand what your pet or your friend was saying, right? To me, Stinky was like another human being. He had a soul. He was able to think. Nothing like me. So, you know, so I considered him a living, thinking, breathing creature. And to me, he was ancient, but he was advanced, more advanced, I think, because he could, you know, in the trees. I mean, it was like, it was easily done to sit there and watch, you know, a monkey or something, or a chimpanzee, and you see them on Jane Goodall videos when they're good swinging from tree to tree, and, you know, just with ease. And to him, it was so easy. Yeah. The extra senses, you know, we have like, what is it? All our senses, things that we can't get there. I guess to know and see and do, I think they're very highly advanced. I really do.
So, Kelly, do you see that how like Stinky could be multiplied into a species of animal living amongst us in North America, across the lands? Like, there's a lot of those things out there.
I look at it like this: you see the old Planet of the Apes from the 1960s with Charlton Heston. The apes were labeled humans. They actually, what was it? The Dr. Zayas, who was the orangutan, who was assigned to the humans were the cause of the destruction, right? But they the other apes that didn't know, were knowledge about it. To them, humans were stupid animals, and I look at it the same way. To me, they're like people. They're not human, but they're peoples. They're beings. I don't think they should be classified as an ant. They might have the bestial something about it that's not human, but I guess that's what that retain that beast. But they're people to me. They're not. Like you have the ones in Australia called Yowies, and you have the ones in Madagascar or wherever, some island. Well, they're little people, the little hobbit, Bigfoot, and I mean, there's so many different types of Yeti. The Bigfoot, the boogers down here are different from the Sasquatch in Canada, they say, and Alaska. They're even supposed to be taller and bigger. Human ape, like which I've seen 3 different types of Bigfoots down here. My encounters, with my experiences, what I've seen up close and personal, and maybe 4 different types. But I believe they're all different, and each one is a different entity, all related, but just like they're related to us in some kind of weird way. But I think that they're beings. They're not animals. If they were animals, animals lack the process. I think it's the thought processes. They have emotions and stuff, but they lack the thought processes to be able to hide and bury their dead or whatever they do. Because Stinky used to bury his feces, he used to bury his food and whatever. He would be like to bury things. And I really believe if he buried stuff, they probably buried their dead. And that's why people. I know they don't sleep up in trees. I think they're underground. And all the reports around here locally that I've pretty much investigated myself through, going to find like in South Carolina up towards Charlotte, North Carolina, which is the Queen City here. It's a good ways away from here, but where I live, but I went there, got a family living in the swamps up there. They were like the wild men, the wild people of the swamps, or the bog people, they call them. Barricades. But it didn't look like and they had, of course, they had black bears there, but there were things and carvings, and it didn't look like no animal would live in that. I mean, there were things in there that no bear would take in. Okay, and I seen the cave before, and it's nice, and I would go places.
Come on, come.
There you froze
Come back, Kelly.
Yeah, she was a voodoo priestess up there, and I heard that she knew about the wild people in the swamps.
He's trying to pretend he's you, Pat. Like the other day. In and out.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was like you would just get to something good and you would stop. And I'm like, oh.
No, I hated shutting that down. I hated
because you've never done that before. You've always had good signal.
Yeah, I think it was my computer.
Well,
yeah.
Well, one thing.
Yeah.
Kick him out.
Yeah,
and
one
then
thing I do want to bring
back
to y'all's attention. Yeah, there's one thing. For some reason on my computer screen, I've been only getting YouTube comments. I haven't. The Facebook comments haven't been showing up.
Yeah.
I
So
was gonna ask you about
yeah,
that.
so I'm actually I got
Yeah.
because I got my phone open up. There's been comments on this is just on Facebook. I've been getting all kinds of stuff on
Oh,
here, and
Yeah.
it wasn't showing
I've
up.
only been
Yeah, because
looking.
I double checked my. Yeah, because on the bottom of the screen, yeah, my Facebook one is not highlighted where it says all destinations. Where
Yeah.
it's airing on both destinations, but I'm not getting comments from both of them. So I don't know why it doesn't do that. I always get comments. So for those who are listening on Facebook, I am now just seeing all your comments. They weren't showing up on my computer screen.
I know.
So
I ignored everybody too. I didn't know they were there. I thought you were just on YouTube.
Yeah. No, I'm on both. I'm on both Facebook and YouTube. But I've been watching
Okay.
the comments and stuff here just on my computer screen. I was wondering why I wasn't seeing none from Facebook. So
Now I gotta go
but-
all the way back just for you guys.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. If you could find something we could talk about, because we'll be getting off before long. So,
Creek
yeah,
Whoop
'cause
says I was right.
We hit a little over about what? Not just
Bigfoot are curious sometimes.
oh. Let's see. All right, and
John Freitas is on,
right.
and he says, "No, it's not illegal in Washington. Only municipal law is a
only
joke."
Moon alive.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, municipal, which doesn't mean anything, basically. Like.
So yeah, for those who are on Facebook, I'm sorry I did not see your comments. They weren't showing up on my screen. So we're actually, me and Nikki are looking on the Facebook now.
That wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah. Let's see. Donald said, "I've always seen them pick up a branch or a rock and hit the stump of a tree or a dead tree or two rocks together." Now that's interesting. Let's see. Interesting. Well, tell you what.
Ooh, we've been on over
2 hours. So let me start with Pat. Pat, do you have anything you want to throw in there or discuss before we jump off?
No, not really. I mean, I'll just, shameless plug, maybe. Each check me out on Facebook, Prime Ape Objective. I do my Squatch Talk podcast, and that's about it.
All right, cool. Nikki, what do you got going on? Sister Side Chat?
Yep. We'll be doing that in a couple days. Not tomorrow for sure. I'm busy, but maybe Tuesday. Earlier than normal, for our time. It's 5 or 6 here. So 7 or 8, you got East Coast. But we'll let you know what's going to happen there. And you can find me on Bigfoot Weekly group on Facebook or our YouTube channel. You can see some of our previous shows on Sister Side Chat.
Cool. You know what? You should. This is just a random thought, and it just popped in my head. You should try to become one of the She Squatchers.
Sea Squatcher, Texas.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? And you and Jenna Grover hook up. She's down in Texas. She goes down to Texas quite a bit. I believe her fiance lives there.
Where is he?
Yeah, I don't know if he lives
Texas
there or.
Texas is really big, okay?
Sure.
And I live all the way
I don't know if he's
on the west side. So I'm literally
I know she's come down to visit
New Mexico, 1 mile from Mexico. I am on that little corner you see on the map. That's where my house is.
Right. I know she's been down to meet up and visit with Baltimore before.
Oh, that's 10 hours away.
Participate in one of his. Yeah, but doesn't mean she can't come to the other side of Texas.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
I haven't talked to Baltimore
right now
in a while because he doesn't like me being a Republican.
Well, yeah, I've had other people message me and said, yeah, other people, he's been unfriending other people too, because he's been starting arguments with other people and he doesn't like the feedback he's been getting. So I'm not I feel better that I wasn't the only one. So I don't know. I don't know
okay.
I
still like him a lot. I like him a lot. It's just we have a difference.
Oh yeah, me too. But
anyway, I
think
think all those
he thinks very highly of Joe.
And Sasquatch
they're
is
very
kind of
back.
a breath of fresh air, only because I've been so hardcore flesh and blood type, of searcher. That's what I believe they're North American wood ape. I always have for a really long time, but they're from the other side. You know what I mean? They believe in other reasoning for disappearing footprints, for they are grounded in a lot of Native American tradition. They, a little bit of the woo factor, I guess you want to say. But
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, that's okay. I've come to really start listening to everybody's side of the story, and I'm just taking it all in because truly, I mean, ever since this pandemic thing, we got to be nicer to each other. We got to let people have their opinions and just be freaking nicer to each other, because this has really brought out a lot of people. Yeah, we have to. We do. We really
I know.
do.
I'm picking.
I know. Just because of, you see a lot of nastiness out there, and it doesn't have to be that way. But anyway, it's all good. I'm still sad that we're not going to have a conference this year, though.
Yeah.
I'm still very sad.
Yeah.
The one year I got it all together to go.
Yeah. Well, I had another guy message me earlier. I was chatting with, and he said, I'll be coming to the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival. And see, that's the thing. They've been putting their notice out for a while, and there's still people not knowing about it. Same thing with mine. I'm going to probably have to keep resharing my post, and because I've had all the people asking me questions about it. I said, well, instead of responding directly to it, I just copy and share the link to them and let her read it. I said, well, because there's people not following everything I put out there. So
I was confused at first because I never noticed the year on it. I went, oh, so it's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then, 21.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, year. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I had to tell this guy that the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival has been canceled. And the only reason they canceled out, because theirs wasn't until October, like it was last year, but because of everybody being out of work and the town's been shut down, all the businesses have been closed, that's where they get their sponsorships and their funding from, is the town. So they felt it wasn't unfair for them to try to reach out for funding if those businesses have been shut down, because they're not going to have no money to put out.
It's going to be rough on everybody.
So they just said, well, we're going to.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it only makes sense to postpone. Yeah.
It does. It does. Yeah. I know it does. It just.
Well, I could. You know what, guys? We can just have a Bigfoot conference right here in North Georgia, in Helen, Georgia, where it's business as usual. There's nothing different at all.
Wow. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, it is.
I haven't checked on the airlines yet. I could just transfer my plane tickets over there.
Well, you have to fly. You have to fly to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Helen, Georgia, it's business as usual. We could just have a Bigfoot conference there, Daniel, if you want. Like, let's do
it. Hey, Pat, you organize it, put the word out there, and promote it.
Right.
I even had started
Well-
your wood burning that I had done. I told you I was going to make you some wood burnings for your giveaways. I had started.
Cool. So now you actually have.
I had started making it.
Yeah.
Whoa. But I didn't. I just barely started. Where's the camera?
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I can't get it all in
You
there.
did real good with that.
Yeah.
Well,
nice.
I still got to do all the color. I have
Wow.
to burn it. I'm burning all the whole outline and everything, but that's just the initial outline, and then I'll go in and do all the trees in the background and everything.
Nice.
So,
Love it.
Yeah.
and then this one's big. That's
You-
one of the biggest ones I've made. Look how big. It's huge.
Wow. I might
But-
not auction that. I might not put that in the raffle. I might have to keep that myself.
You know what? I knew you were going to say that, so I was going to make you a smaller one.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I said I better make two of
Nice.
these same ones, but I only bought one of the big rounds. Wait until I'll keep showing you
Very awesome.
as I do more on it, because I got to finish it. I want to move on to this other project I have.
Well, now you have a whole year to make multiples.
I know.
And you can sell them.
Then I gotta
Absolutely.
pay for my luggage. I was
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna
you got- I
take
forgot
the
you got-
carry on. Yeah.
You go through the checkout where the security line.
What the hell is
The-
this?
They're grabbing each
I'll
piece
open
of
all
wood.
up.
What is this?
Wood.
Yeah.
Can I bring wood aboard? Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see one security guard get on the camera, on the mic. Yeah, she's got wood. So, oh Lord. Well, just a heads up, there definitely will not be. Well, as of right now, maybe this could change. Friday, I might do a podcast earlier because I want to try to get up early Saturday to get out towards the woods to get find a place to set up and camp. So Friday, maybe that we might do something. Maybe this is up in the air right now. So, but yeah, for all next week, I will be out in the woods camping, and I will be checking my trail cameras up there because I'm going to bring my laptop up there so I could check to see if I have anything. And if I don't, I'll just I'll reposition and I'll put them back out again. So, but if I do get something decent on there, I'll definitely make sure I try to share it with you guys. So, but that'd be awesome if I get something good on there. So we will see. So meanwhile, yeah, for those that don't know, I'll make it public that we were just talking about the conference. Anybody who's bought tickets already for the conference that was going to happen this year, your tickets are good for next year because the event got postponed and put forth to June 26th and June 27th of 2021. So all the dates and everything on your tickets have been updated. I went on the ticket link to update the dates. So, and especially vendors, if you were a paid vendor, you're still covered for next year. So don't worry about that. Everybody's taken care of. So with that being said, just know that all the information on our event website, our Facebook page, has been updated. All that good stuff. So take note of that, view that, share that around, and for a Sunday night, we're gonna jump off of here. So everybody who tuned in to watch, thank you guys very much. Keep it squatchy. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel right here, make sure you do so and click the little bell icon and share the YouTube link around and help build this up. So till next time, guys. You guys have a good night. And I'm trying to hit the end button and it's not letting me pull it out.